Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Naruto Next Generation discussion on the fallout from Boruto chapter 77. And today, I want to take things a step further than we did previously, and I want to talk to you guys about the pros and cons of what Boruto's manga has just done by sealing away Naruto and Hinata, and why this is actually something that might be a better thing for the story itself, especially when we consider the foreshadowing that we had with Naruto being sealed away for a second time in the series, and how symbolically this works out well in a few different ways, because there's actually quite a bit to go over, including the possibility that Naruto either won't be getting out for a very long time, or Naruto might not get out ever again. Now, before we hop into this topic, I just want to say if you want to hear me discuss other series like Chainsaw Man, Black Clover, Spy Family, and coming soon, JiuJitsu Kaizen, Eden Zero, My Dress Up Darling, and etc., make sure to subscribe to my KRYPTONIAN SAIYAN channel, because we're about to ramp things up shortly over on that channel. So anytime you're gonna do something like you're gonna kill off Kurama, or you're gonna destroy Sasuke's Rinnegan, you're sure to rile up fans to a point to where social media will spoil things for the Japanese fans of the series. So it's safe to say that Naruto being betrayed by Kawaki and sealed away alongside his wife, that counts as a really big deal. However, given how many people I've seen who are upset that Naruto is now out of the story, I want to look at why this actually isn't a bad thing. While it's definitely a very bold thing to do, it's not necessarily a bad route to go. Symbolically, you could make the argument, which I personally don't buy into, but you could make the argument that Naruto started the Naruto franchise having something sealed inside of him, and he's being taken out of the franchise by being sealed away into something, which is something ironic. Again, I won't go that far, but I've seen people make that comparison. However, removing Naruto from the story by having Kawaki seal him away has gotten Kawaki heat to the point where no other villain can compete with him right now in terms of betrayals, unless we're talking about our tribal chief Roman Reigns after what the Bloodline pulled with Sami Zayn at the Royal Rumble. Fans right now personally feel hurt by what Kawaki did to Naruto, which it makes a lot of sense. Fans have had years of growing up alongside Naruto. For an entire generation, Naruto is what Peter Parker was for me growing up as a kid in the 90s. He was a hero for me back then, just like how Naruto is a hero for so many fans who grew up in the 2000s and the 2010s. It hurt me to my soul when Marvel killed Peter Parker off, and I was enraged when they introduced Miles Morales later on in that universe. While Naruto isn't dead per se, the idea of Naruto being unable to protect his wife from Kawaki, let alone himself after being sealed away after sacrificing the Nine Tails to save Kawaki, it wasn't just Kawaki betraying Naruto, it was Kawaki betraying all of us as fans. I can't sit here and lie to you and say that when Kawaki sealed away Naruto, it didn't make me feel some kind of way, because I grew up alongside Naruto, so absolutely. However, the trade-off to taking Naruto out the story is that we now have the opportunity for a major spike in conflict. This isn't only going to affect Boruto and Himawari, it's going to be more widespread than that, which is why this is so good. The Hokage position has to be filled right now, either by an 8th Hokage or someone like Kakashi or Tsunade stepping back into the role of Hokage until Naruto is rescued, or one of the 8th Hokage candidates, Shikamaru or Sakura, holding the position in acting capacity only, but never formally taking the position, because they're doing so under the assumption that Naruto is going to be saved and reinstated. The other Kages, they're going to have questions, and Kawaki is going to be a wanted man, because the Kages only agreed to allow Naruto to keep watch over Kawaki because they had Naruto's personal assurance that there would be nothing bad that happens with Naruto watching Kawaki. We all saw how quickly after the battle with Ishiki, Naruto's Kage peers, they were pointing out that Boruto needed to die because it was his security risk, and some of them even called into question if Naruto could take on Momoshiki if he ever revived into Boruto's body, something that even Sasuke doubted that Naruto could do if Momoshiki ever returned. Could you have some of the Kage say Kawaki isn't wrong for wanting to destroy the Otsutsuki? It's certainly possible, but I do think that all of them are going to have a problem with Kawaki unilaterally sealing away Naruto to make this happen, because it's a shot at the established ninja system itself, because it shows not even a Kage is above Kawaki should Kawaki deem them to be a problem. They originally wanted to keep him in a secure location and placed under watch, but Naruto made his whole speech via the appeal to pity. When he used the whole "I was a Jinchuriki" story and Talk no Jutsu won out at the end of the day, until at least it didn't, because Kawaki hit the mute button on Naruto several chapters later. You also have the issue that we're headed into what looks like an eventual confrontation with Code, who has created an army of 1,000 Ten-Tail soldiers that is continuing to grow. We don't know their power levels. They could range in power levels like the Biju, or since they have a human-like appearance, and they they've been infused with Code's chakra, they could be little baby Jubi Jinchuriki, since they have a humanoid body, which in theory should make them stronger. However, even without the Nine Tails, Naruto is still stronger than the other 4 Kage. That's a major piece that's missing that has to be accounted for. The tendency people had over the years was that if anything bad was to happen, Naruto and Sasuke could just pull up and save the day. That's how it was with Kara, until people saw firsthand what a walking hard counter looks like when Jigen was introduced, and not only hard countered their entire ninja arsenal, but was also stronger and faster than them. The same with Ishiki, who was so strong fans weren't even sure how Ishiki could be defeated. Narratively, Naruto being sealed away is going to place the ultimate bet on what he told the Kages. When the anime version of the story had Naruto deliver the news of a possible Tsuki threat, the Kages had no faith in the next generation, whereas Naruto directly said he not only had faith in them, but he also believes, based off of how fast they're growing in this time of peace, they're young tree buds that haven't even blossomed yet, and they have the potential to surpass each of the Kage sitting at the table with them, and he might not be mistaken. Training is something done in this era not out of the urgency. It comes from being in proxy wars with other nations and a silent cold war between villagers where life and death conflicts were expected as the norm back then. Conflicts that forced a whole generation to grow stronger and evolve, or else they would be killed off. This current generation has benefited from their parents being around to devote time to training them extensively and making training something akin to more like a game in some cases, which is why we've seen people like Chocho doing stuff that her father couldn't do unassisted until the war. Naruto placed faith in this new generation, and now that Naruto is gone, it's a sign to the next generation they have to be the ones to step up. Training is no longer optional. Whatever progress they've made, and there are standouts in this generation who either have the power to master a skill or they have a ton of skill and they lack the power, they're about to be pushed because they have an urgent need to grow stronger and there's a goal in mind for them to reach. Naruto's situation isn't too unlike the character I'm about to reference, which if you're not caught up on JiuJitsu Kaizen, you're going to want to skip ahead roughly 1 minute into this video. Naruto and Gojo were both 2 characters who believed there was a change coming with the next generation where they could power up to levels that no one thought possible. Gojo was that guy until he was no longer that guy due to being sealed inside the prison cube. After he got sealed away, we saw Yuji, Megumi, Yuta, and especially Maki power up to crazy levels of power in the aftermath of Gojo being sealed away. And Gojo being sealed away brought utter chaos to the Jiu-Jitsu world and provided a whole subplot to rescue Gojo before he dies inside the prison cube. Naruto being sealed away, it provides that same path to take where characters with the most potential power, they're going to have to power up in response, and you're going to have the stakes being raised with such a powerhouse being written out of the story. And most importantly, you have the subplot that has the potential to be a long-running plot thread that can clash with the main plot that's occurring. Which, side note, it should make you laugh when you see the thumbnail now, because Naruto and Hinata, they're roommates with Gojo in the thumbnail since they're holding the cube that Gojo sealed away into. Now, if you're an anime-only fan for JiuJitsu Kaizen, it's safe to watch this video. I think it's ironic that we started the series wondering how Naruto, someone we saw over a decade of training following Kaguya, would be defeated by a kid who was roughly the same age as 16-year-old Boruto that we saw in the flash forward sequence, and we now have our answers. And while it makes logical sense how Naruto is taken out, there's still a quasi-Weltsmert situation where fans are trying to rationalize what could have been done to prevent what happened, which means Masashi Kishimoto accomplished the intended effect, which for those of you guys who are new to the channel and have not heard me use this term before, or you're a longtime viewer and you've never heard this term before, a Weltsmerch is a situation where an author places the reader into a form of depression or sadness that makes them look at the events of what just happened in the series and compare it to what they believe to be an ideal world. To use Naruto as an example, since this is a Naruto channel, which irregardless as to what people tell you on the internet, Boruto is the sequel to Naruto. It's in the Naruto franchise. If you ever read the manga and you just wonder why Naruto couldn't have just been adopted by the third Hokage, or why Minato couldn't have stayed alive and found some other way to handle the threat of the masked man that we know to be Obito, because as a reminder, Kushina was willing to drag the Nine Tails with her to death so Minato could live to raise their son. If you start looking for ways to improve the situation that makes you sad or it causes grief to your favorite character, you're giving the author what they intended, while showing that the character is one that they wrote that has accomplished the task of evoking a strong emotion out of you as a reader because you've grown attached to that character and their journey. The teases, they're always there. With Jigen sealing Naruto into another dimension, which fans have joked he got sealed inside of 2 upside down ramen bowls, though I venture to say, just based off the Japanese folklore, it's actually safer to say that was a rice cooker. But we were teased way back then, and we saw briefly how things quickly descended into chaos once Naruto's out of action, and back then Shikamaru pointed his fangs at Kawaki. However, now Naruto isn't coming home anytime soon, and Shikamaru can point those fangs all he wants at Kawaki. Kawaki's just strong enough that he can just slap anybody in the village unless they promise Damon a lifetime supply of animal crackers and juice boxes. I think the other thing here too is if Naruto is being held out the story until the very end of the series, while it's going to be an effective way to make tension and to make a subplot, it's going to test Boruto as a series because we're transitioning away from the story of father and son, as Boruto first put it. The beginning of his story is the story of father and son. However, the rest of the story is just the story of Boruto, which is what we're going into, as Boruto told us in the flash forward sequence was going to be the case. Can Boruto pull what, spoiler, skip ahead about 30 seconds? Can Boruto do what JiuJitsu Kaizen did by sealing away Gojo, the most popular character in the series and literally one of the most popular male anime characters in Japan, and see its sales spike afterwards? That remains to be seen, but it's worth noting Boruto's best-selling volume to this date is still Boruto Volume 1, and that was largely driven by the whole who is Kawaki, where did he send Naruto, is Naruto dead? That was a huge thing that really powered the sales of the manga volume, which had enough traction that Shonen Jump literally sat down to interview Kishimoto and asked him about that subplot at Jump Festa later on that year, where he said not only was no character from Naruto's generation safe, but he also said he was still part of the Boruto team and checks over each chapter, which is why he can't view Boruto from a fan perspective because he's still in the creative process. How this is executed moving forward, it's going to be an interesting thing to see. That being said, I'm curious to know you guys' opinions on this. Should Naruto stay sealed away for a long period of time and released in the final arc of the series, or should Naruto just be killed off inside the dimension he's sent to? While you think that over, click here to watch this Kryptonian SAIYAN video, or click here for this Naruto Explained video.